series, so you asked and I am answering. Join me for a fan Q&A. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. Flacca11, you wanted to know what show should come back from the 90s. You know what? I was too busy working in the 90s. I wasn't really watching too much television besides But let's say Kids Incorporated, Mickey Mouse Club. I think that was in the... Oh, wait a minute. I think that was in the 90s. Mickey Mouse Club. Mickey Mouse Club was in the 90s because I remember I was on the Mickey Mouse Club when I was shooting Sister Sister. So I'm going to answer Mickey Mouse Club. If I could eat the same meal for a month and not get sick of it, a meal? Oh gosh, I would probably have to say pizza. Addy Taddy, hi. So, what am I afraid of? Basically is your question, right? I am afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights. So, I'm thinking I would be afraid to jump out of an airplane. Skydive? You'll never catch me doing that. Other people can do that. Yeah, I'll just stand at the bottom, looking up, saying, hi, hope you guys are having fun, because I'm not doing it. Do I like to read, and what are my favorite books? I do. I love to read. One of my favorite books would have to be Eat, Pray, Love. The Power of Now. I loved The Power of Now. And another one was The Alchemist. The Alchemist, it was recommended by a really, really good friend of mine. What's up, OT Fag Bentley? He actually told me to read this book, and it really changed my life. What I loved about this book in particular was learning how we should just sit back and pay attention to the signs and the omens in life, because we all have them. Just kind of, follow them. They're like compasses to where you need to be in life. Now that I have children and I work a lot, it's very, very hard for me to pick up a book and read. So now I'm really into audibles. I want to know more about some great Audible books out there. Let me know in the comments below which ones you guys are currently reading. What is my favorite genre of music? I like all types of music. Dietmar Liebert, I think that's how you say his name. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. He plays the guitar and it's just instrumental and I just absolutely love it. For some reason, whenever I put on one of his albums, it just puts me in a great mood. I also love hip hop. I'm a huge fan of Drake. Hi, Drake. Like you're watching this. I love, come on. If you know me, I mean Queen Bee. I am a huge Beyonce fan. Like, I love her. She is so amazing. 5 artists: Beyonce, 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 and Beyonce. I also love, and a lot of people actually don't know this about me, but my brothers, I think my brothers have mentioned this in some of the videos. I love Celine Dion. I've loved her for so many years. I actually went to 2 of her concerts. I actually met her too in real life, and I learned French because of her. Because, she's from Canada and she speaks French, and she's one of the main reasons why I decided to study French. I just love her. Who else do I love? Oh no, one more person. The other one would definitely have to be Michael Jackson. I love Michael Jackson. He was a musical genius. So Michael Jackson all the way. I already took a role in a horror movie. Hello, that's how I met my husband. I mean, you didn't see it? It was called Hollywood Horror. Yeah, it was the worst movie ever. Please, don't go see that movie. Don't go Googling it. You're not gonna find it, okay? It was an independent movie. I met my husband, Corey Hardrick, on, and yes, it was a horror movie, and I did die in it. I also did this new show that's gonna be on HBO called A Black Lady Sketch Show, and that was very horror-esque, I would say. I was like tied up to a chair, I was like screaming, lighter fluid was thrown on me, and the house went up in flames. What is the one thing that I've done that I wish I hadn't? I will have to tell you, I have no regrets. That is one thing about me I never wish that I've never done anything because I feel like you always learn from something. So I never regret doing anything because I always learn from whatever I've done. So your question is, do my children mimic me in some kind of way? And yes, definitely. So Cree, he would always say, really? 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 And I'm like, where does he get that from? And then one day I was like, really? And I was like, oh, wait a minute, he got that from me. And then another thing is, my son always does this. I'm like, get out of my face. What are you doing? And then I caught myself doing that. I was like, oh my gosh, like he's doing what I do. So he has a lot of my personality. Cairo so far, my husband, like Cairo is just so zen, it's not even funny. This is Corey, happy. This is Corey, sad. This is Corey, angry. This is Corey, ecstatic. That's my daughter. I'll catch a smile every now and then. Hi, Samantha Shelley. Your question is, which quick fix episode happens to be my favorite? I absolutely loved my baby shower video. I just thought that that was just so beautifully shot, beautifully done. And I always find myself going back to that video over and over and over again, just because it's definitely a moment in time for me that was beautiful and wonderful, and I'm no longer pregnant. So when I forget about, oh gosh, what was it like? What did I look like? I'll go back just for that reason. It was just such a beautiful event, from the flowers to the lighting to the food to the people to the atmosphere. It's just a nice video overall to just watch. I've been asked, do I have anxiety? And I really haven't shared this with a lot of people. I actually have a lot of anxiety. And that may be shocking to you because, I am an actress and you're always in front of an audience, you're always performing in some kind of way, whether that's in front of 300 people or just, 10 people. I do have a lot of anxiety. How I deal with it is I deal with it in many ways. Number one, I tend to have certain rituals. So what I mean by that is, say for instance, if I have to perform, I always have to have the same drink. So when I have the same kind of drink, it reminds me, or it makes me feel like, the day is gonna go well. It releases my anxiety. So it's almost like, I don't know, it's like a little OCD kind of thing going on here. Like I have to do the same thing every single day in order for me to, release some sort of anxiety that I have. So just sort of create some sort of ritual. Of course, the ritual has to be a healthy ritual. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be, a negative ritual in any kind of way. Another way on how I handle my anxiety is I do yoga. In yoga, when you are doing it, whether it's for 30 minutes or for an hour, between every move, you're breathing in and you're breathing out. So it's teaching you how to relax subconsciously, whether you even know it. Or what it's teaching you is when you are in a very strenuous, kind of hard position, and that could just be a stretch, you know what I mean? There's this tension that tends to build up, right? And so there's that anxiety. When you're in yoga, they teach you to breathe through it. And when you breathe through that uncomfortable feeling, it's so crazy how you start to learn how to do that in your everyday life. And then also what helps me with anxiety is prayer. I pray, and that really helps me kind of let go of things instead of hold on to things, and just kind of put it out there into the universe and say whatever happens, happens, whatever's meant to be will be. And when it happens, it's like, okay, then that's what was meant to be. So that's how I get through anxiety. How do you stay hopeful and positive after suffering from a loss? I think it's really, really important to, first of all, surround yourself with a support system, right? So whether that's you've lost your job, whether that's you've lost a friend or family member, it's really important to surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up and to speak positivity into your life. So that's number one. Many of times when you're in that moment, you really don't want to hear it, right? You're just like, But I think it is important to surround yourself around positive people, because that positive energy can jump on you, and that's important. Another thing that I do is, I know this may sound hard, but it helps me whenever I'm in this situation. I let go and I let God. There's a saying, let go, let God. But what I mean by let go is I just kind of shake it off and I say, you know what? This has happened, and if it's happened, then I have to believe that it is meant to be. And when you come from that perspective of just letting it go and saying, you know, this is meant to be, then you start to trust where you are in your situation and in life, and that helps you move on. Before you know it, 2 weeks will go by, 5 weeks will go by, a year will go by, and that's the next thing. Time always heals everything. 2 or 3 or 5 years down the road, you'll see yourself maybe in a better situation, and then it'll be explained or revealed to you that, wow, now I see why that happened to me. And it just helps me get through whatever I'm going through. I did teach my son Cree baby sign language. It was the most cutest thing ever, because when they're young, the way you use your mouth to communicate and to talk hasn't fully developed. So they have these thoughts and they have these feelings, and they're very smart, but they just don't know how to execute it. So teaching him sign language was a way to know what's going on in my son's head. It's just so adorable. I'm actually doing little bits of words with my daughter Cairo now, and you know, instead of screaming after eating, something, you're like, oh my gosh, like what's wrong? But when you say more, do you want more? And then she'll go more. It teaches them to no longer scream to communicate. She'll just go more. It's just adorable being able to communicate with your child in a way that they wouldn't necessarily know how to, because they haven't fully developed yet. I mean, I would say it's definitely worth doing and taking the time, but by the time you teach them, a huge vocabulary, they're saying, Mom. Oh my gosh, my gosh. Yes, my daughter is going to be a ballet dancer. No, I don't know what she wants to be when she grows up, but it's definitely something that I will introduce. I grew up dancing, so to introduce her to that form of, performing arts, I think it's great. I mean, she's in tutus now, and she can't even walk. I can't wait to put her in dance class. Stephanie, you asked if I experienced postpartum depression with any of my children. I didn't know if I wanted to share this, I was going to share it, but I didn't know when, and I guess now is the time to share it. I did experience postpartum depression with my daughter, Cairo. And what's so interesting is it's crazy how, even when you talk with other women, how you always second guess yourself on whether or not that is what's going on. And I think for me, it stems from shame. You're like, I got this. You know what I mean? Like, me? Postpartum depression? No, I'm a happy person. And there's different levels of postpartum depression. There's different kinds of postpartum depression. Mine was definitely not the one in regards to harming my daughter, or even self-harm with myself. Mine was just extreme anxiety, extreme sadness. And this is so odd, you guys, this is so weird, but I feel like we have a great community here. I even took pictures of myself crying. I felt like when I would cry, I'm like, why the hell am I crying? But then I would take a photo because I wanted to remember, like, this is what it looks like. I was just so overwhelmed and just sad at times. One of Cree's, caretakers, she even came up to me and she was like, Tia, you've been in your room, like, you haven't gone outside for weeks. And that was also kind of like a sign where I was like, okay, Tia, like this just doesn't feel right. After you have a baby, doctors will check in with you, and then you have to write kind of like a survey if you're experiencing sadness. I would be like, yeah, I'm a 10, which means I'm happy, you know what I mean? I don't know why. I think there's just some sort of shame that comes along with that. But mine was definitely situational because it was triggered because my husband had to leave and he was off for work for 4 months and I was with the baby all by myself for 4 months. So it was a lot and I became very overwhelmed. I did tell my really close friends and my husband knew. And by me being honest with them and my close friends, that definitely helped, I believe, with my recovery. And just out of nowhere, when I returned back to work, I just snapped out of it. I just was no longer, depressed or sad. I was like, oh yeah, I'm feeling myself again. Like, this is awesome. This is wonderful. But if you are feeling depressed in any kind of way, make sure you talk to someone. If you don't feel comfortable enough to, talk to a doctor the way I didn't feel comfortable enough, which was so weird, talk to your friends and your family, because I think it's important for you to definitely be honest with someone and to have some sort of support group. My go-to recipe or meal that I make in about 30 minutes or less, my favorite would definitely have to be my fried rice. It's so incredibly easy. The recipe is actually in my cookbook, Whole New You. It's so easy because what I do is I use a day-old rice. So that could be rice that you've cooked from the day before or even leftover rice from, a restaurant. You throw that into the pan with some sesame oil, some soy sauce, get some already pre-cut up garlic, throw some packaged kale in there, and then get some toasted almonds, throw that in there, stir, 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 stir. Oh my gosh, you have this incredible kale fried rice. It's so good. Where's my dream destination? Gosh, I have plenty. Where's my dream destination? Anywhere on a beach. And the sand is like white and the water is like clear, like bathtub clear water. And I have a pina colada in my hand. And I am just chilling. And a place that's close to that I've been to is Anguilla. I absolutely love Anguilla. It's so beautiful. But then I love, places like Italy. There's a place called Sardinia, and it's in Italy, and it is just beautiful. It's stunning. All right, you guys, so if you want to check out another fun Q&A, check out the video with my dad and my brother. Just click the annotation right there. It's a lot of fun. Bye, guys.